Welcome to the Successful Life Podcast. I am your host, Corey Barrier, and today, folks, you just got me. So, I know you probably get tired of me saying that, but listen, do me a favor. If you find some value in this show today, like it. Share the show. Show me that you care by liking and sharing the show. Give it, share it on social media. I used to not really give much of a call to action, and I don't really know why that is, but I'll just tell you that it makes absolutely no sense that I've had this podcast for the last 3 years, and I don't talk about it that much. Why is that? Because maybe I don't feel like it's worth talking about. Maybe people think that I'm bragging, right? If I'm talking about my podcast. Or maybe it really doesn't matter what those people think, right? It really doesn't matter what those people think, right? And you're not one of those people, or you wouldn't be listening to this show, right? You know who I am by now, or maybe this is your first time, and maybe you don't know who I am. And so let me just tell you. My name is Corey Barrier, and I am the host of the Successful Life Podcast. I am also a subject matter expert in sales systems and processes. I have also published #1 best-selling author, bestseller, not author, on Amazon. And I coach and consult $1 million plumbing companies to double their revenue in 6 months. So, that's a little bit about me. I'll tell you something else about me is I'm ADHD. And guess what? Sometimes that is a little bit hard to follow. And sometimes, you know what? Maybe you're ADHD, and that's why you listen to this show. I don't know. But we're going to dive into a couple of different things today. And you all know I work, as I said, I coach and consult with plumbing companies. So it's not that I only work with plumbing companies, but that's my focus. Why? Because I get the best results. So, we've been going through a little bit of a tough time. Let me preface it by saying, when I say a tough time, what I mean by that is I didn't plan very well, and, I had some deals fall through, and some things that I had planned on, and those things didn't work out right now, and so my brain can go there. My brain can go to a place where I look at the negative, right? I think about why, how'd I get here? What happened? What mistakes did you make, Corey? What did you F up this time? Why did you say what you said? Why did you do what you do? I could go down that route for the next 10 years. Because it's a program that's been playing in my head for longer than freaking 10 years, that's for sure. And this is why. Well, and y'all have heard me talk about this. Ages 0 to 7, that's when your brain gets formed by, from your parents, and all those things you just keep playing over and over and over and over and over. And that's why you look at someone and you're like, hey, dude, they're just like their mother or their father. Well, there's a reason for that. The reason is that, of course they're like their mother and father because they grew up that way. And lots of times, most of the time, not all the time, but most of the time, people don't break that generational, I don't know if you call it curse or whatever you want to call it, but if you think about, if you've got somebody that is making $35,000, $40,000 a year, and both family members, let's say it's making 40 or 50 grand a year, right? And that's all they make their whole life. Well, and they raise 2 kids and they show them that they're making 40 or 50 grand every year. And so their kids get conditioned, right, to see what mommy and daddy are doing and how they've made, what decisions they've made, how they've made decisions, and they follow in the same footsteps. Now, that probably makes sense to you because it's kind of common sense. But if you really step back and look at it and think about it, is it that common that we really step back? And I know I'm going a little bit deep here, but just bear with me. do you ever step back and think about these things? Do you ever step back and think about how, how our lives do turn out, right? How do you make decisions? Do you even know how you make decisions? I can tell you right now how you make decisions. Whatever you're listening to this podcast on is how you make decisions, right? If it's most likely it's your phone. And guess what? If you think about this, you wake up in the morning. I don't look at my phone in the morning because I'm not giving anybody my time in the morning that I don't want to have my time. And that device is not coming on. Instagram is not coming on. None of that garbage is coming on until I've had my time with me. And nobody's going to take that away from me. And social media sure as hell is not taking that away from me. And so here's the deal, and I'm probably going to maybe hurt your feelings. I'm not sure, but guess what, Jack? I have my own problems. I don't have time to worry about yours, right? Like, I have my own stuff. It's just it's like this. If you think about a deal in business, right? When I'm talking about working with somebody and helping them transform their company, I completely lost what I was saying. When I was talking about transforming the company, I don't know what I was saying. Jesus Christ, I cannot believe I blanked out. Well, I can obviously believe that. You've listened to this enough times to know. That was really good where I was going with that. It'll come back to me in a second. I do know what it was. Okay. So, if you're asking me to come in and transform your company, right? I'm not bringing problems into your business, right? I'm the solution to the business, not the problem. So, ultimately, I don't have the problem. You have the problem, right? I can only help you so much. I cannot, look, think about it like this. I'm going to tell you, now just imagine the last time you went to the doctor's office. And imagine if the doctor would have said, well, they probably did say this, and I'm not going to say exactly what it was, but what if the doctor said, let's just take a year ago, the doctor said you need to take this blood pressure medicine or else. And he just kept calling, and he just kept texting, and he just kept bothering you, and he just kept badgering you. That's like a sales guy, right? But doctors don't do that, do they? No. They write you a prescription, they tell you you should take it, and guess what? Most of the time, they don't suggest whether you take it or not. They just say, here's the prescription, here's the prescription that's going to solve your problem. And guess what, Jack? It's the same thing that I do. I give you a prescription for your problem that then gets fulfilled by your people that I am help train, right? And form and mold into the people you want me to mold them into. Whether that be better salespeople, whether that be better designers, whether that be better better plumbers, whether that be better contractors, whether that be better roofers. It doesn't really matter. What matters is what matters to my customer, my client, who hired me. And listen, I get to have really hard conversations sometimes, because sometimes I'm brought in and I already know that the owner is missing a few things. Now, I'm not saying the owner's wrong. I'm not saying they're doing anything wrong. I'm just saying they're missing some pieces. There are a few sandwiches short of a picnic. That's actually a really derogatory thing to say, because that's not really how I meant it, but you get the idea. So if you're a journeyman plumber and you move in to you become a master plumber, you open your own shop, great. You've mastered plumbing. That is completely cool and completely noble. And I think that's completely incredible. I want to cuss, but I'm trying to put this on YouTube, so YouTube does not like it when I cuss. So I'm trying to get better about that, but I really just want to drop the F-bomb like 7 times, but I'm not. So that's super cool. And by the way, anybody that's listening to this, if you're not into trades, these guys go to school for 4 years to be a plumber. I don't know if most of you know that, but when y'all say plumbers are dummies, well, y'all are idiots, because most of you didn't even go to school long enough to be a plumber. I didn't go to school long enough to be a plumber. I'm going to be the first to tell you. So everybody that had, anyway, you get the point. So, and I'll tell you another thing about you know, these guys in the trades. Y'all are becoming, and you already know this. Now, when I say this, don't let it go to your head, but like y'all are becoming a rare commodity, right? And guess what? In 10 years, you're really going to be a rare commodity, because guys are not coming into the trades because their parents said, don't go into the trades, go to college. Now, I know I just shook some people up when I said that, and I don't care, because that's what's happened. That's exactly what's happened. Your parents said, don't be a stinking plumber. You need to go to college, boy. You need to get a degree, make something out of yourself. Well, guess what? Joke's on you, mom and dad. If that's what you told your kid, the joke's on you. Because that plumber that you basically talk crap about, well, guess what? They're going to be making all the money. And all your doctor friends are not going to be making all the money. So, I don't know if that's really true, but you get the point. Like, doctors are always going to be in need, but plumbers are also going to be in need. Doctors have more people coming into their trade than plumbers. And so, the truth of the matter is, in 10 years, we're going to have a lot less tradesmen, and y'all are going to be able to charge 3 times as much as you charge now, if you can keep yourself in business between now and then, which is hard to do. And if you don't know what you're doing, you don't need to do anything. In fact, you can stay right where you are. You're right where you are. You don't have to do anything. You don't even have to lift a finger. But you also can't expect to get better if you don't lift a finger. And you can't expect to be a successful business owner if you don't lift a finger. And so, look, I just needed to go on this rant, because I keep talking to companies, dude, and like they're like, we can't hire good people. Don't tell me you can't hire good people. That is a lie. That's a lie you're telling yourself, because maybe you're not a good leader. As a matter of fact, if you're telling people that you can't find good help, you may not be a good leader. Probably not. Because if you were a good leader, you wouldn't have a problem finding help. I know people that don't have any problem finding help. And they don't tell me that, right? So, listen, it's do what you want with this information. But if you're listening to this and you're a young guy and you don't know what you're going to do with your life, you need to look at the trades. Because this is a great opportunity for you to make a bunch of money doing something that most people don't want to do. And guess what? You're going to become an even more rare commodity than you are now. So I would encourage you also to go download the Contractor Plus app. It's literally, I'm telling you all, you're going to hear me talk about this every single podcast, because I think it's the solution for every tradesman. Everybody gets in construction. I believe this is the solution. And so I say that with absolute conviction, because I believe it. Listen, you just got to be a little bit patient, because technology is not my friend either. And so if you're struggling with the app, which you shouldn't be, because they've laid it out freaking perfect. They've laid it out exactly how you do your daily jobs. I mean, it's crazy. Anyway, y'all need to go check that out. And man, by the time this podcast comes out, they're going to already have integrated with Thumbtack and with Contractor Cam, I think is the name of it. Please God, I hope that's right. But it'll, dude, you're going to save so much money. Like I'm already going to tell you, if you hire me to come into your company, this is going to be a must, because your guys are not doing this stuff. Look, this camera inside of here, Like y'all already know what this is. It trips me up because I had never heard of it. Which is weird because I've worked with a bunch of trade companies that clearly are not using it, which is just mind-boggling to me. It's one of the largest camera companies in the whole planet for contractors. Anyway, it's cool because it marks your spot. Like if you're at my house taking pictures of the roof, it marks your location and it tags you to me, the customer. That's cool, dude. I don't care what anybody says. So anyway, I'm jacked about it. I think it's going to be it's going to be super. And if you haven't downloaded the app, go download it now. It's contractorplus.app on the internet, and then you find it in the App Store. Go check it out. I'm telling you right now, get in now. It's like almost 20,000 contractors on there now, and there's probably getting ready to be 4 or 5 times that at the end of this week. It is getting ready to blow up. So you should go check it out. And there is a lot of great people in there, and there's a lot of great resources in there. Like me, I'm in there. We're doing stuff. We are doing my Jesus Christ, it's been a long day. We are doing the masterclass in there. We're taking my material and I've co-branded it with Contractor Plus, and we're going to be offering my program inside of Contractor Plus. This is really cool for me because it gets me an opportunity to help more tradespeople, which is that's my goal. And it's really weird. You know how I started this call with the 0 to 7, you turn out like your parents, you know, that whole thing. What's ironic is my dad told me the other day that when he was, you know, early 20s, he worked in construction. I never knew that. And so what's interesting about that, I don't know when he had me. I don't think he was working in construction then, surely. Maybe he was, who knows. But it's interesting because it's almost like because he was always in sales also. Well, he ran a big tobacco company, but sales have been the heart of his business forever. And so it's kind of fascinating that I wound up in sales, not in tobacco, which I almost did, but tobacco and construction, not tobacco and construction, sales and construction. So it's just fascinating how this whole life circles around and how this, you know, how it kind of keeps you in the loop, or it could keep you in the same loop, right? The Matrix, so to speak. Anyway, guys, appreciate you watching and listening to the show. And we'll see you on the other side. Make sure you share this show. Go check out my YouTube channel. That information will be in the notes. And if you're watching this on YouTube, then you need to go check out my podcast. It's going to be cool. You'll also see the tradeschools.com. That's where, if you're a contractor, if you're a tradesman, you want to come to a place where you can learn how to balance your life out, learn great business tips, personal, like how to handle yourself personally, is what I'm trying to say. Physically and spiritually, like those, we cover all those things. And maybe that's not for you, and that's cool. If it were not for you, then you're not for us. We're cool with that. But if you are for us, we'd love to have you. So we'll see you guys on the other side.